Yo, what's going on, fellas? It's Blitz. We are back. You saw the title. Today we got the best power forward back-end build for Pro-Am 5v5 and 2K24. As always, I stream every game we play, so if you're interested in watching some Pro-Am or League matchups, I will post some of those on YouTube, but you can view all of them on the Twitch link down below. You can find all the media links down in the description. Check out the Twitter, check out the Discord server, lots of good stuff there. If you like the content you see here, please leave a like and subscribe, and go ahead and hit the bell so you know the second I drop a new video. All right, let's go to the builder. Real quick, before we get into the build, I want to just have this made known. This is what I call the viewer warning. This build you're about to see is specifically engineered for Pro-Am 5v5 and designed to fit into a unique role on a full team. Basically what I'm saying is I want to protect myself from misleading people, or I want to protect y'all for taking bad information into what y'all play. I play competitive Pro-Am 5v5 all the time. I play with a full 5 all the time. I created this build and other builds that I post on this channel to fit into a role in a full team. So it's not necessarily made to go into solo rec or go into solo park or go into the ante-up or go into the stage. Now some of the builds I post might be able to fit into that, but they're not necessarily made for that. So feel free to comment down below, ask me yes or no, I'll let you know my thoughts on it. But really, I just want to make sure no one's misled by information I made just because I make my builds to fit into a certain role. Up next is the build creation formula. Now, I know some of you didn't quite come for this in-depth type of guide, so if you want to, feel free. It's not gonna hurt my feelings at all. Feel free to skip all the way to the end and get to the part that you want to see, which is the end goal of the build. I'm not gonna like hide that, but I only show, like, you know how some YouTubers do, so they show like the finishing and then they don't show the full screenshot. I'm not gonna do that. You feel free to find it. I'll probably tag it. But this is just something I include because I do get a lot of comments that they enjoy this type of in-depth guide and the logic behind the build. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. Feel free to skip ahead. But this, the build creation formula, this is something I designed to simplify the process of creating a build while also helping you not accidentally mess it up. I use this process for every build I ever make in 2K, and it is incredibly helpful to me, and I'm sure it will be to a lot of you. So this build creation formula, let's just go down the list and read it off. Number 1, what role am I playing? Number 2, identify what specific attribute caps, animation thresholds, and specific badges are non-negotiable and are must-haves on this build. 3, focus on adding creativity or maximizing areas. I just said maximizing areas because we don't have badge counts anymore, so I am using a screenshot from last year. I will update that, but that principle still applies. You want to focus on what role are you playing, understanding that role, formulating a structure of what your build has to have, and they're non-negotiable for it. And then number 3, focus on adding the creativity or maximizing certain areas that you want to maximize. Now, so let's go ahead and look at that number 1. What role am I playing? Well, the role you're playing is a power forward backend, obviously, but you're made to play really effective pick and roll defense. You will be the most versatile defender on the floor. You're essentially the glue of that defense because you can do everything from outside one-on-one defense to inside one-on-one defense against the center. Like, you can do, it's just defensive fluidity all throughout. But the main purpose is, since the meta, it will most likely be pick and roll, you want to be able to be super quick and agile enough to go up and down on that pick and roll, guard the PG, then guard the center, you know, show and go. Many of you know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's the role you're filling. That's the role you're filling. And also, you want to be really effective at hawking those lanes. You want to be a passing lane steal demon. Like, people have got to be afraid of throwing the ball near you. And then, of course, on the offensive end, you want to be able to shoot really effectively. So that's the role you're kind of filling with this build. All right, so let's take a look at that second part of the build formula, which is the must-have attributes. Now, I know y'all are probably already seeing some inconsistencies because I have on the top of your screen early game suggestions, and that's because, guys, I'm human too. I'm not an expert. I'm not a genius. I'm just someone who puts days and days and days and hours and hours and hours into competitive Pro-Am and into the builder. And quite frankly, it is still really early in the year. So this game has the potential to change a whole lot, and I don't think we know for an absolute fact what is necessary at every position 1 through 5. I think we have good ideas. I think everyone has good suggestions, but we don't know for a fact. So I feel a little uncomfortable with using the terminology as quote-unquote must-haves. If you have another idea, if you think something can be lowered or heightened, feel free to do that, because we're early in the year, and nobody is 100% genius on this yet. And don't let them fool you, because they're not. So this is what I like to call the early game suggestions. Just take my advice, with a grain of salt. These are just my early game suggestions. Number one is the 65 driving dunk. I think this is going to allow you to get the athletic hangs off one, which is the new best dunk animation in the game. I think it also gives you, I think it also unlocks a dunk package called Manu Ginobili. And I think that's, I just said the dunk package is called Manu Ginobili, like I don't know who that is. An old Spurs player, Manu Ginobili. He has a good dunk package. And I think that'll be good to unlock for this build. A 74 3-pointer, so you get at least silver catch and shoot, but keep your eye on this because I do have a little spice coming with that step 3 of this build making process where I maximize things. So we'll get to that in a minute. But this is just the structure. This is the early game suggestions. This is the structure of your build. This is where we're starting. 75 pass accuracy for silver break starter. 77 interior D. I believe it's part of the unlock for anchor. At least that's what my notes say here. Again, the builder's complicated this year, so if there's a correction, please let me know down in the comments. Again, I'm not a genius. I'm not. So if I get something wrong, I more than likely will get something wrong, or I'll misspeak about what unlocks what. But 88 perimeter defense is where we're starting with this gold challenger and gold 94 feet. It's going to unlock those for you. 95 steal for the Hall of Fame interceptor and the gold glove and right stick ripper. Right stick ripper is underrated. If you take the time to learn it, I think it's really, really good. I'm not one to be pro new badges. I usually think the new badges most of the time are pretty terrible in 2K, but I've had a pretty good experience on right stick ripper. I like what I'm seeing from it. You want to have a 92 block for gold anchor and gold pogo and gold chase down. Chase down's good this year. At least it is with my build, with a certain vertical hack I got going on. But you got 92 defensive rebound. Obviously, you want that pogo. You want that gold rebound chaser, obviously, for this position. You want the box out beast, and like I said, the pogo stick. Pogo stick's pretty good again this year. 84 strength for gold box out beast and silver immovable enforcer. I know I've said box out beast for a lot of these. I don't know if they're all needed, but they do help. I think that I'm pretty sure they're a part of the unlock system, but they might not be. I'm not sure, but that's just what I saw. That's what I have in my notes here. We're going to start with an 85 vert for gold chase down and pogo, and then we're going to start with a 95 stamina for gold workhorse and 94 feet. Now, I wouldn't usually advocate for a massive amount of stamina on our defensive like back-end builds and stuff, just because I don't think it's that necessary. I don't think there's many times in the game where where a power forward is like out of stamina, so I usually go like 85 stamina on a lot of them, and a lot of people say I'm crazy for that. But this year there's a reason to have high stamina for this gold workhorse and gold 94 feet, which are both good badges. So now, here we are. After a lot of finagling around, we're finally in the builder. We're going to make it at the power forward. We're going to do the height 6'8". We're going to do 227 pounds and a 7'6" wingspan. Now, I'm about to show you what the structure of the build is. Now, I have done nothing to this so far except what we just listed in the screen just a second ago. Now, many of you understand, like 99% of you understand, that when you put certain things up, it also raises other attributes. So it looks like I've done a bunch of different stuff. But like I said, I promise you, I've done nothing to this attributes except what we just listed on the previous screen as the must-haves. And so this is just the structure. So now we can move on to that step 3 of that build creation formula and focus on the creativity or maximizing attributes or the skill sets. So let's just kind of go down the list here from my notes about what I've done to this build to do that. So we're going to raise the standing dunk up to 45. It unlocks another dunk package, so you'll get 2 standing dunk packages, which are really good in this game. You'll see a lot of builds that have 45 standing dunk for that exact purpose. 78 3-pointer, guys. I wish I had better reasons for you here, and I'll get to a wrinkle here in a second. But it's just hard to shoot. Period. And I know there's a lot of people who are going to think that they're really cool and say that it's not hard to shoot at all. Guys, it's pretty hard to shoot this year. You can have games where you're 11 for 11 from 3, and then you'll have a game where you're 0 for 11 from 3. It can be all over the board. I have personal beliefs about why that is, but that's not for this build video, is it? But yeah, I raised the 3-point because I want to be able to shoot as best I possibly can. And then I'm going to go back up to midi, and I'm going to do something you probably haven't seen a lot of people do. I'm going to raise this midi all the way up to an 84. Now that allows me to do a bunch of different things. That unlocks gold catch and shoot for me. I know it seems weird, but it unlocks gold catch and shoot. Even though I only have a 78 3-pointer, it gets gold guard up, gold midi magician, silver blinders, and silver deadeye. That's going to be better shooting badges than 90% of the back ends in this game because you just can't get a high enough 3-point ball to unlock those things, but you can get a high enough midi. Now, I'm adding all sorts of stuff in the game. I wish I had enough clips to clip dump in here, but I'm being able to do stuff that you just don't see back ends do. I can take fading threes out the corner. I can take fading mid-ranges. I can just catch the ball and go. I can post up. I can post fade against PGs that have little defense because my mid-range is so high. I don't have any post control, but my mid-range is so high that green window is still there. So you open yourself up to a lot of different additions to your offensive game as a basically 100% defensive player. So I highly suggest this. It's actually shout out to Shots Top 5 for this. This was a his idea, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is genius. So shout out to him for sure. But let's keep going down the list. I'm gonna go all the way down to offensive rebound. Now, this gets into something else too. And again, I'm sorry if you're not here for all the explaining, feel free to pass on. But I want to take you through the thought process. The offensive rebound, the fast breaks on this game are ridiculous. I mean, they're ridiculous. I mean, they're, to my eye, playing Pro-Am at a high level for 4 years, the fast breaks in this game are at an all-time crazy high. People are winning games exclusively from being able to just run away, like run out early and get points that way. Like, it is nuts. So I thought, since I'm sitting in the corner, I basically don't have a prayer of getting back there to stop these guys anyway. Why don't I stop them from ever having the ball in the first place? So I decided to take this offensive rebound all the way up to an 85. Now, I know that might seem like a little bit of overkill, but it's not. I'm loving it. I think it's awesome so far. I had my doubts at first whenever I was in the process of getting this build up. I did have my doubts, but I no longer have those doubts. It's working. It's working. I'm grabbing extra possessions for our team, and I highly suggest this. You're not going to be able to stop, unless you're a fast lock, you're not going to be able to get back in time to really stop the fast break. That's all on your guards, which have low to mediocre defense. So it just is what it is. You got to depend on them to get back, and you can help them out by crashing the boards. So that's just kind of my take on that. I'm going to go down to speed now. We're going to put the speed up to 81. Now, there's not really a specific reason for this. I mean, you see the gold chase down artist goes up, but also you just need to be fast in general. I mean, part of the entire point of this build is that you're faster than a big and you can play better defense because you're faster on the court. You can go up and down on the pick and roll a lot easier. You can make defensive plays a lot better than he can. Excuse me. And that's kind of the point of the build. So to me, that was just obvious. I'm going to raise the Excel up to 70 here for fast feet bronze. I did have a build where I really tried to squeeze out 73 Excel to get fast feet on silver. But then I kind of came to the realization that I'm not sure there's a big difference between bronze and silver acceleration. And taking this down to 70 allowed me to do some other stuff. So that's what I did. Now, go down to vert. This is the sauce for my build. I'm taking this vert up to a 90. Now, people are going to say this is legitimately crazy, and that's totally fine. I'm willing to be wrong on this. I'm definitely willing to die on this hill. But I made a 90 vert power forward toward the end of last year, like the very last build I ever made at the end of 2K23. And I wish to God I would have made it sooner. Its blocking ability, its chase down ability, its ability to jump and get rebounds above 7 foot plus centers was ridiculous. I really, really wish I had made that build sooner. So this year I didn't make that mistake. I wanted a 90 vert. I wanted a 90 vert build. And I mean, this may be a thing where you come back in 2 months and you see that I decided to take this down to an 85. That's very, very likely. But for now, I'm a believer. I am a believer in the vert. And now to top off this build, we are just going to put the rest into free throw, I think. At least that's what my notes say. Yep, that gets us right to 71, which gets us the bronze free points. I wouldn't skimp on this. Free throws are kind of wonky this year, so I wouldn't skimp on this. Yeah, and so let's see what the build name is. I mean, we know what the build name is because you saw it in the intro, but shades of Josh Smith, Jaren Jackson Jr., Al Horford. Al Horford's kind of a question mark. But the two-way spot-up glass cleaner. Kind of a cool name, maybe not the best, but honestly, I think y'all know at the end of the day, the name of the build doesn't really matter. What matters is what it can do. that will do it for the build. Thank you so much for watching. I know I got off to a slower start than on the content than we wanted to, so I apologize for that. But I appreciate y'all for sticking with me. Let me fill out the game first. If you enjoy the Pro-Am matchups or the build videos, or maybe you decide to make this one, leave a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments. Hit the bell so you know the second I drop a new video. Don't forget about the links down in the description, especially if you want to tune in on Twitch. All right, that's all I got for y'all. Y'all have a great one. I'll catch you in the next one. Blitz out.
There it is.
Get up! Kid, up! Come on, kid! Get up!